Folks at home are just now joining us. We want to let you know the breaking news that we're following. Former President Donald Trump's campaign saying he is safe after gunshots were fired in his vicinity while he was on his golf course a short time ago, just after 2 o'clock Eastern time. We're learning that Trump was playing golf at the club, the Trump International Golf Club in Palm Beach, Florida. When this took place, sources are telling CNN that officials believe the shots were intended for Trump and that an AK-47 was recovered near a tree line area there at the golf course. The law enforcement officials saying that a car was also stopped nearby in relation to the shots being fired. A press conference from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and the U.S. Secret Service will be taking place soon. Of course, we're going to continue to monitor it.
As you heard, it was clear that these shots were intended for former President Donald Trump. The reason I wanted to start with that is because there were a lot of rumors that this was not targeted towards Trump. The New York Post was actually one of the first ones. Shots fired near Donald Trump as he leaves his Florida golf club. And in the article, they actually wrote, 2 people exchanged gunfire outside of Trump International Golf Course, West Palm Beach. The shooters were targeting each other, and the gunfire was not targeting Trump, the sources said. Well, it turns out that the person, the gunman who was shooting from the tree line, was targeting Trump, and that the second gunman was actually the Secret Service firing back. So technically, that was correct, and that the 2 gunmen were targeting each other, but the second gunman was the Secret Service. And it's not like these were like 2 gangs having a rivalry outside of Trump's golf course. It was clear, based on the evidence and what is coming out now from law enforcement as well as Secret Service, that this was a second assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Fortunately, Trump is safe. The Trump campaign has put out this statement. President Trump is safe following gunshots in his vicinity. No further details at this time. Now, there is one key piece of evidence that is being reported not only by CNN, but Fox News, as well as other sources. But it's this one tiny, tiny detail that personally I think we should all be keeping an eye out for. And I think that this could be the smoking gun, so to speak, that blows the whole lid wide open. So here is the start of the CNN panel explaining what exactly happened and explaining what was found at the scene.
So, I mean, I'll caveat this with this is unfolding rapidly, so all of this information is preliminary, and it may shift and change as we've seen before. But what we are looking at is starting to come into focus a little more sharply. So this is what we have right now from law enforcement sources who have been briefed on this, and it appears that around 2 o'clock, shots were fired at the golf course, possibly coming from the tree line, while former President Trump was playing golf. The Secret Service identified the direction, and the shooter returned fire at that gunman who fled. Witnesses were able to provide a description of an individual and a vehicle. We are told that a vehicle that is close to that description has been stopped by Palm Beach County police, possibly in Martin County, just over the line, and that they are holding that individual for the purposes of identification.
So the good news is that they have this suspected individual. Now, of course, the key word there being suspect, innocent until proven guilty. And, he may just look similar to who witnesses saw. So there is no confirmation that who they have in custody is indeed the person who attempted to take Trump's life. Now, if it is that person, though, this is obviously very different from Crooks, right? Because they shot Crooks on site, and so we don't know anything about whether he was a lone gunman, whether he was hired, whether, he was radicalized. Like, we know his intent, right? He wanted to take out Trump, but we don't know any of that backstory. If this person that they do have in custody is actually the suspect, is actually the person who shot at Trump, then we're going to get some answers. But there is one piece of evidence that they found in his book bag that no one is really zoning in on, and I think that this is going to be the smoking gun that blows this whole thing wide open. Take a look at this.
In the area of the shooting, sources say they recovered a backpack and a semi-automatic rifle. It was described as an AK-47 in the preliminary reporting. and a GoPro camera. The last piece is very interesting because it suggests, if there was such a camera there, that this individual may have wanted to record himself in a first person doing the shooting. So a lot of questions to be answered. Is the suspect, they have the right person? Is that the right car? The weapon that they have has to be processed for evidence and ballistics. If there's video on that camera, if in fact it was recovered as we are told, what will that tell them? But that is what we are seeing right now.
Now, what's really interesting about that is the fact that a GoPro was found in the book bag, and as that analyst and reporter was saying, it suggests that this person was filming from a first-person point of view. Now, think about that for a second. Most criminals, I imagine, don't want to get caught doing a crime, right? If you're robbing a bank, you don't want the security cameras going on. That's why they wear like the ski masks to hide their identity. That's why all these protesters wear the face masks, because they want to hide their identity. So why would someone film themselves not only doing a crime, but assassinating one of the two candidates for president? Like, not only would that be evidence against you, but like, you're going to document that? Does this person want social media fame? Does this person... It just doesn't make sense until I thought about the possibility. Is it possible that whoever was shooting, is it possible that this is a hired hand? Because wouldn't someone who, is hired by someone to take out a hit, wouldn't you want to record yourself doing it as evidence in order to get paid? Now, this is just speculation. I'm not saying that that's what happened. But what I am saying is that I think the GoPro is something that I'm not seeing talked about online, and I'm not seeing any of the networks talk about it. But I do think that the GoPro, just on my outside perspective looking in, could play a huge role in this investigation. Why did he want to record it? What was the goal of recording it? What was he going to do with the recording? Was it going to be online, or was it going somewhere else? And most importantly, why would you film yourself performing one of the most awful acts, killing someone else, or a crime, just totally depravity? I can't imagine any reason why someone would want to record themselves doing that. So for me, we're still waiting, right, for more evidence. The Secret Service, in conjunction with Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, is investigating, and they announced that they are going to do a press conference, a joint briefing together. So until we get more information, this is all, just speculation, aside from what we already have confirmed, which is, so the facts that we do know: number one, it appears that this was indeed targeting Trump. Number two, they have a suspect in custody, keyword being suspect. Number three, they have the weapon, they have the backpack, they have the vehicle. There was also a GoPro in the vehicle. Fact number four, the Secret Service fired back. But I think the GoPro here, I think it's going to play a major role one way or another. One other thing, we do know for a fact now that they have shut down the roads around Mar-a-Lago. The perimeter of the property is secure. This allegedly is a photo from the immediate aftermath. You can see them looking in the direction reportedly from where the shots came. A ton of vehicles coming there afterwards. I was not able to verify or authenticate that photograph, but doing a reverse image search, I was not able to find that photograph anywhere else. So I don't think it was like an old photo that's, just now going viral. Of course, all of this is my analysis and my commentary, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. Why do you think someone would have a GoPro to film themselves doing something so incredibly awful? It just rings counterintuitive to everything you would think about a criminal or a murderer doing, typically, from what we know just from mainstream pop culture and what we know from investigations and documentaries, is that people usually want to get away with these awful crimes. They don't want to be associated with it at all. In fact, people go out of their way to make sure that they can't be traced back to a crime. So the fact that this person would have a GoPro, which suggests he was filming himself from that first person point of view, again, I think it's something to keep an eye on as we get more information in the coming days. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me in the algorithm to reach more viewers like you. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.